Alright, I got another shot in me.
Gyruss.
Gyruss. Oh, I never read this. Okay.
Looks like the enemy from Rolling Thunder.
25XX. Yeah, and I don't have time for that Control B business. Control B. Or Control A. Did not mean to push that button first. Would you consider this game like a spiritual successor to like Space Invaders? Or like Galaga?
Yes. Well, I mean, no, because it's not made by the same company.
Yeah, it's true.
I would say it's certainly inspired by it.
Yeah.
If Galaga was like this, I would have liked Galaga better.
I like Galaga, it's my problem with it is that when you play it, 9 times out of 10 in the arcade, the controls are horribly broken in some way, or like you just get bad luck in that game.
I just don't like how there's no end to it.
Yeah.
Because who wants to sit there and play it for 3 days?
Yeah, it's true.
Nobody wants to do that.
Unless you're like, you know, Extreme Arcade guys. I tried to be Extreme Arcade guy for a whole year. You remember that when I was like hardcore in it about Excite Bike? I played that game for like hours on end. Up at what's his name?
Board, don't you?
No. I was doing it on emulator and
I
then
gave it to you. I gave you the board.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
It's in there.
Oh, I thought it was Donkey Kong Jr. that board that's in that cabinet.
Come on. You didn't know that you had the arcade version of Excite Bike in your own house?
No, I had no idea. That's really sad.
Fuck.
I legit thought
I
it was
gave you
Donkey
the,
Kong.
Control panel too, right?
Yeah. That's kind of sad.
I thought you knew that.
No, I had no clue. I thought it was a Donkey Kong cabinet all the way through. Through and through.
No. I mean, it was.
Yeah. But, yeah, I used to go to, what's his name, Richie Knuckles, and play that Excite Bike, VS Excite Bike cabinet for, like, hours on end. I was so convinced I was going to be able to break times.
You wasted your money because you had it in your house. That's crazy.
It is. That's really sad. I didn't know that. I could have sworn it was Donkey Kong cabinet. Or Donkey Kong board. Well, I should hook that back up. But yeah, I played that game all the time, and I was like totally convinced I was going to be able to break. I did get like a couple of good scores, but it was just I never submitted them because they were all on emulators. And I knew that if I did that, they were just going to cry that I was cheating. Which in reality, it was...
Use a keyboard?
No, I was using the arcade machine, just like with the emulator. Yeah. Which actually put me at even more of a disadvantage because I don't care what people say, emulator controls are laggy a lot. And I know for a fact that like when I was playing that game, I could have moved a lot better if I was using like real controls.
Yeah, that's what made me stop. I stopped using emulators because of that.
Yeah, it
just doesn't play right.
Yeah. I used to think it was just because I was like it was just my like nerdiness kind of like influencing me, but I swear like when I switch back over to an emulator, like I need to look at something or I want to practice something if I'm trying to do like a game run, like it doesn't feel right. Like that's why I kind of stopped practicing game runs because like I remember what game was I was practicing? I think it was Metal Gear because I was gonna try to do like every Thanksgiving I always try to like I always go to my parents' house and I always like stay up all night afterwards and I just sit there and try to beat a game all the way through. And that was like the first time I beat Goonies 2, and the first time I beat Metal Gear was during that. And like I practiced on Metal Gear with an emulator, and I was having such a hard time with it because I just felt like nothing moved right. Like it just felt off the whole time I was playing it. And then when I switched back over to the real thing, I was like, wow, I'm never going back. I know people think it's crazy to say that, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel right.
It's true, man. It's true. I've used emulators for like half my life.
And I struggle.
As soon as I switch back to real hardware, it's like night and day.
Yeah.
I remember playing UN Squadron on an emulator and thinking, man, this game is impossible. And then I played it on the actual hardware.
Yeah.
And it's still really hard, but it doesn't feel shitty.
Yeah. No,
For
definitely.
games like
I
that,
mean,
you need good controls.
yeah.
Like, fine, RPGs you can use an emulator because you don't need like good reaction times.
That's true. Yeah. No, I mean, the other one I used to play, like I usually play those like really short, kind of like one-off games like Jaws and Kung Fu. Like people laugh because I swear to God, those are like two of my favorite games because they're just short and sweet and easy to play and easy to pick up. Like you can pick up Jaws right now and beat it in 10 minutes, 20 if you take your time. But like, and that, I mean I'm not a speedrunner, but you know, I used to like even playing those games on an emulator. Like Kung Fu just felt terrible when I would have it. It would like I would move and it wouldn't register. Or it would be like latency, and like in that game, like especially on like the second to last level when you're fighting on the magic level with the wizard guy, like you need to be able to move fast because like if you are off by an inch, you die. And it's unfortunate because every other boss in that game is so easy with the exception of it. God, with the exception of that guy.
Well, even like I've used all the different arcade control interfaces, the iPad,
God,
KeyWiz, all those.
terrible.
And those are pretty freaking good, but still. Actually, to tell you the truth, I played a lot of this game called V5.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a shooting game. And at my house, and when I went to Japan, I played it in the arcade, and I couldn't tell the difference.
Huh.
So, MAME must do a pretty good job, coupled with a good control interface.
Maybe it's just certain.
But
like
like console
specific ones.
emulators and like USB gamepads
Yeah.
and stuff, struggle.
Yeah, they're just not good.
When I was in Japan, I like practiced a pretty good amount on that game before I went, and then when I went, they had it, so I played it. And
Nice.
I was doing okay, and then some dude just walked up to the machine, sat down, and got way further than I ever did. Like some like 45-year-old dude. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm in Japan now.
Well, it's just different. I mean, in Japan, like the gaming culture has such an identity, and I think in the United States, it's like just not the same. I mean, not to say like skills are different or whatever. I don't know about that, but like I just know that culturally, like even today, like even though games are everywhere, there's mobile games and this, that, and everything else, like it's still pretty much looked at as like this odd sort of niche that a lot of people don't understand. Am I coming up? I think I'm on the snails. The hell snails.
You know what? I thought that was true like maybe 5 years ago, but it seems like it's not really the case anymore. At least in my opinion.
Ugh.
But then again, I work with a bunch of computer dudes, so maybe that's coloring my perception a little bit.
I think it's like a mix. Like you got, I mean, it's like it's definitely become a lot more. I mean, you can't say that it hasn't become more mainstream. I mean, it's like everywhere. But I think it's also exposed, like, brought out like a lot of the flaws in like the gaming culture in the U.S. Like all that stuff. Like I don't know if you follow any of that stuff about like.
Please don't talk about the guy.
I'm not going to talk about
Gamergate.
no, I'm not going to talk about any of that
sakes.
stuff. But like, you know, about like how even now, like, as soon as something terrible happens or some kind of tragedy, it's like video games are like the #2 thing that they blame. And Call of Duty is now like, you know, that's the devil. And
well, that's fine with me. It's Call of Duty.
I mean, you get my point. Like, it's that it's just like we're still fighting that like kind of weirdo stereotype that like gaming is inherently associated with violence and negativity, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, I know I'm biased because I play games all the time, but I don't know. I think that a violent stimulus to a person who's overly sensitive to it or overly receptive to it is going to be elicit the same kind of response no matter what. But that's just me.
These crazy people that do violent things don't need video games to
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're...
facilitate.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're going to do somebody that does something like that, that makes that kind of a decision, I don't really think that video games are the influence, you know, or the thing that pushed them over the edge. I really don't like any of the enemies that are on the screen right now. Like, they're really freaking me out.
They're like weird blow pops, those things.
Yeah, they're like hell blow pops and the snails from hell. It's just, this is just hell all over.
Hedgehogs.
Call me napping.
Oh, geez,
Ah, I wasted it. Oh my god, I'm such an idiot. I was sitting there watching the shot, like, look at that, I'm so good. My god, this thing is so angry at me right now. I can't even, like, get through. There we go.
A lot of these enemies are very, genitalia.
They are. Look, dude, it's Uranus.
Uranus.
Alright, I accomplished what
Those
I wanted.
things look like weird genitalia.
Translate! Give me them bombs, give me them bombs.
Actually, this does remind me a lot of Galaga and also a lot of Gradius.
Yeah, it's got that Gradius sound effect when you get the bonus points, like Life Force. It is very similar to that.
No, because the way that the enemies come in waves, it reminds me of Gradius.
Yeah. That's another game we gotta do on Retro Wednesdays. Gradius, we should do Gradius Life Force back to back.
Life Force I can beat, Gradius I can't beat.
Yeah, there's no way. Is it Gradius or Gradius?
It's Gradius. Because it's you know that sword, the Gladius sword?
Yeah.
It's Japanese people saying Gladius, but since they don't have an L sound,
Huh.
they use Gradius.
I would never have known that.
I think. Let me check that. It's not that they don't have an L sound, it's just that the L sound and the R sound are the same.
Yeah, we should definitely do Life. We can beat Life Force in like 10 minutes. It's like a nothing game. We gotta do, there's some other... We gotta do our Haggard Games specialty, Guerrilla War. Because A, you can definitely beat that game, no matter what. And it's still also kind of fun. I got a pretty decent run going here, at least.
Stage 14, not bad.
Yeah. I mean, considering that I've spent a total of 0 minutes practicing on this before tonight. And these games are all crazy intense. Uh-oh. Now you're cool. Gotta take them work calls, son. Take them bills.
Your internet works.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Why has this guy got a the snails have shields now? They're even more annoying. How many stages are in this? 39. Alright, I'm on 15. I don't know why I did that. Oh, I got it back, so it doesn't really matter. Did I do it? No. I really don't like those shell guys.
Do you guys use PagerDuty on your on-call stuff or no?
Nah, we just, it's more like you just gotta watch our ticket queue. We both work in IT, so we're just comparing nerd notes. Ah! Didn't mean to do that.
PagerDuty is the best and worst thing ever created. It's really, like, it's a really
crap.
But,
Well, 15 is pretty decent.
what is your thing called? The Promised Land?